You guys, I did it. Week in the Life 2024 is finished. Let's go ahead and dive in to looking at a full flip through of this album. Hi there, this is Linda, and this is my 10th Week in the Life album. This is the first time I've done a 10x8, and I loved it. I had so much fun with this. I don't know if I would do a 10x8 again next year just to switch it up, but I really enjoyed how this one came out. So I'm just gonna give you guys a walkthrough of my completed album and kind of the choices I made as I did this project. I tend to not focus too much on the opening page. This is actually usually the very last thing I do. I just didn't have a good photo that I wanted to include up front this year. I had a lot of photos that I liked, but I wanted them to be big on the specific days. I didn't take quite as many photos as I usually do. And this year, Week in the Life really focused on me. I lived alone during Week in the Life this year. So I used the me from the You and Me mini kit and the Week in Life chipboard, and then this paper, which was from the Paper Person shop. On the back of it, I just put a paper from the daily quarterly scrapbook kit from Ali Edwards. I used quite a few pieces from that kit in this album, and I just cropped it down to fit on the page from Paper Person because these are actually 6x8 pages rather than the like outside the page protector size. And I just added the dates of the month, so this was in April, and then just did one word to kind of highlight what was going on, like my schedule. Mostly I wanted my work schedule in here, but I just put crafts and chores for the weekend. Then I followed a formula every single day. So starting with Monday, I used these numbers, which were also from the daily quarterly scrapbook kit, and the dividers were from Ali Edwards, like this year's Week in the Life collection. I used a lot of products from that collection. I started each day with a full page photo of myself. I had originally considered embellishing these with the words. They look like this. This is the wrong day, and putting these on my photos. But because these were a transparency, I didn't love how they looked on the photos, and I felt like they didn't really pop enough, although now I'm kind of liking it. But whatever. I didn't include those. I didn't end up using them. So I'm just going to, I just left these blank. So now I'm actually considering that, putting these in here and changing it up, but we'll see. I think some of them would have worked better than others. Starting each day, I used a layered template. This was in the layered template pack that Ali Edwards sold for this year, I believe, but I adjusted it to fit the 10x8 outside the page protector because those are designed for inside the page protector. And then I deleted the word art. I used the word art from last year's collection for the daily dividers, but you could definitely have used this one. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have just for cohesiveness, but I really liked that style. So I just masked that into ones and added some extra photos. Then I added these little tabbed pages in here. I stamped the date. That's the only place that I actually put the dates. And then I stamped out a large phrase, and when there was extra space, I just filled it in with washi from my stash. Next, I created this page protector. I used the 10x8 size and just stitched here to include a large photo from the day with the circle embellishment. And then this was for my meals. So I tried to include photos of my meals, but I didn't always get all of them. So I included stamping for the ones I didn't, and then used the plus symbols when needed and some word phrase strips from my stash. On the back, I did my main journaling. So this, I typed out my journaling and I included it in here just, I just typed it during the week and then printed it out. I didn't use specific prompts or anything this year. I just journaled about my day, and I added some stamping across the bottom with the chipboard asterisk, and then printed a photo 3x8. Next was the half circle page. I did my outfit of the day photo. And then on the back, I just included a photo in a half circle with the remainder of this and a chipboard piece. Next, I had a divided page protector. So the divided page protectors in this size album have 4x6s and 4x4s. So I pulled the 4x4 card from the daily kit. Those were not the right colors to match, but I used them anyway. And I highlighted a story each day that I wrote during the week when I was living life. And I paired it with at least one photo. So for Monday, it was about my headaches. And I had a really bad headache that Monday. I cropped down the 3x4 card because I didn't love like all the colors together, and just used it as an embellishment on that photo, and then added in some extra photos from the day. On the back, I have more photos, and then for these cards, I stamped the high and low temperature, and then I tried to include a photo that represented the weather for the day. Sometimes I was more successful than others, but I liked this one, and I also captured kind of like what my house looks like. Then I had a 2x2 page protector. This included pieces of ephemera. I added these little flags in here. These circles were from the daily scrapbook kit. I added the ampersands. I think those were in the You and Me mini kit. And these little cards were in the You and Me mini kit. I added a heart on each one and a word to represent the day, or like my mood for the day. The back is just more of those same things. Another circle from that kit, another one of the page flags. And then I added in photos to fill in the rest of the spots that I didn't have ephemera for. Finally, I ended each day with a large photo of a hobby. So I tried to document my hobbies. This time, that was kind of my focus of my album, of collecting my hobbies. And I didn't do all of my hobbies during the week, and I struggled a little bit with like pairing them with days, but I ended up just kind of going with realistic of what I ended up doing this week. So on Monday, I did this project of reorganizing my spice jars. And so I put that for decorating, because right now one of my big hobbies is decorating my home. I added in this pocket, and then I just left it with the solid color because I liked the color of the day showing through. I stamped the letter for the initial for the day, and then on the back, I added some typed journaling about my specific hobby. I had stamped these on vellum and then just cut them out and stitched it on there. And then I ended the day with another large photo. Like I said, the first photo of the day was always a photo of me, so the ending one, I don't think any of them are photos of me, maybe some of them, but they are photos that I really liked. So this one was my cat yawning. I was obsessed with this photo. And then I just added this embellishment cluster and followed the same formula every day. Okay, now moving into Tuesday. So I added the 2 following the same formula. Here's the large photo of me. This is a reflection of me in the morning doing my hair. I don't necessarily put photos in chronological order throughout the day. Instead, I picked photos based on how they fit specific pockets. I had a lot less photos on Tuesdays, so I used 2 of the pockets with the decorative elements in here. Totally fine. Here's my large stamping. And then here I have some photos that I took with my boyfriend. So I have a boyfriend, and he is very present in my life. He didn't live with me during weekend life, but he was still with me pretty much every day. I believe I saw him, but he doesn't like his photo being shown online, and he also is kind of weird about just getting his photo taken in general when it's not posed photos. So he didn't end up in any of my everyday life photos. He did end up in my album here. We took a couple of photos together on our date night, so I included those, but he's not really present in the rest of the album, and that's why I feel like, you know, this is my life, and it's my choice is if I want to be in it, his choice if he wants to be in it. So it is what it is. So he doesn't show up in this album as much as he does in my life, but I was able to kind of document that in other ways, and I'll point that out when I get to some of those examples. So here were my meals again. Tuesday I was in the office for work, so it was a lot of stuff at work. And this photo of me hugging Pumpkin when I got home at the end of the day, my outfit. And then I had less photos, so I just put some filler cards in some of these. These were just 4x6 cards that I had in my stash that I could crop down to fit 4x4. Tuesday was about my boss's retirement party that we hosted, so that was my specific story. And then here is, you know, some more photos from the day, my weather photo. And here's another spot that I included my boyfriend because I got our shadows in here so I can remember we were going to the movies, but it was just a creative way to represent that he was present at that time. Here is my embellishments, or my like ephemera in the pocket, following the same formula as before, putting my word. And then here are just some more pieces on the back and a few additional photos. For Tuesday, I did reading. And so I took this photo of me reading my current book that I was reading during the week. I was super thrilled that it ended up being a book that I really, really loved, which might end up being my favorite book that I read this year. So I was happy that that fell on Week in the Life. And then again, the pocket with some reflection about the specific hobby of reading. And then ending the day, I had this photo I took from standing in my driveway looking out to my neighborhood and all of like the lights and the moon. I liked how this one was lit. And then I added some embellishments here to end the day. Wednesday, I again went into the office. Here's that large photo of me driving to start the day. And then my photo grid here, photos from the day. Large stamping, I added some washi because it didn't fully fill the page. Large photo of me at work. My meals, I remembered to take all my meal photos. And then Wednesday was saying goodbye to people in the office that were retiring and just kind of a busy day. So I had some photos with friends at work and then some photos around the house. And then for my story of the day, I just did a story about like where I am right now as far as the living at home, living solo right now because I was in a transitional phase. So I was really wanted to document that. And then saying goodbye to my boss. He retired, which that was what I stamped here. Today I said goodbye to my supervisor the last 10 years. So I got a photo with him, which he didn't even know it was Week in the Life, but I was like, hey, can we get a photo together? Because it was his last day. Documenting the weather. I'm super happy I captured a photo like that. And because I was looking for weather photos, I saw the sky and I was like, I need to photograph that. And then here were more photos and ephemera. I had like a Band-Aid from the day, so I left it with some empty space to kind of see through. And I like how that turned out. And then for my hobby, I did organizing because I happen to work on my stamp organization. So in here, I just documented some journaling about organizing. And this was one that I kind of didn't really want to include. I wanted to do cross stitching, but I just hadn't been in a phase of working on my cross stitch. So I didn't end up including it in here. And this is just what I happened to do that day. So it worked out to include that. And then here's a photo of my favorite corner of my kitchen with all my stuff out to make my coffee in the morning. Moving into Thursday, here's me just sitting in my living room. I love that this picture captures kind of what my living room and kitchen looks like now, in addition to me sitting there munching on a snack. And then here's my collage. For the collage, again, you can see the shadows, but for the collage, I really tried to pick photos that were like this shape would work well for them to crop it, and things that I didn't really want blown up. So these are not necessarily chronological. Some of these are from the morning. This is from later in the day. This is from the afternoon. This is the morning. It just was kind of how it fit in here. I didn't really have a specific quote or like format that I followed for this. It was just something that came to mind each day. So this one, I just did a list of things I was loving this day. I loved how this photo came out with my cat. I was cooking and he wanted a little snack of what I was making. Oh, for lunch here, I took photos of my lunch like that, but my boyfriend was with me and he took a photo of me taking a photo of Pumpkin trying to steal my lunch, which I thought was hilarious. And then I have the photo that I took of Pumpkin in here somewhere else. I will find it. My Thursday journaling, my outfit of the day. Thursday I was home. And then here I have my story was about the craft community, because on Thursday I hosted the story chat Zoom and story Zoom. And I was also on a story, Instagram live with Allie and Lisa talking about week in the life. So it was perfect to make that my story of the day. And then I also threw in a photo of my craft room as a complete mess. Here's the photo I took of him trying to steal my lunch. The weather. I didn't have a great weather photo, but I wanted to include this photo and it was outdoors, so it worked. Here's my embellished, or like all the little pockets with ephemera, photos, the word of the day, the little page flags and circles. And then for my hobby for Thursday, I documented playing my Switch. And so again, with the journaling in here and just kind of leaving the back plain. You could definitely put photos or something else on here, but I really just liked that the color of the day shone through. And so I liked how that looked. And then my final photo was my cat in front of the fire. And it's so fun to see this because this was not that long ago. And no way will we put the fire on now. It's hot outside. We have the AC blowing, but at this point in time, we had the fire going. Friday, here's me getting the mail. And I had the least photos on Friday, so I had 3 spots that I filled in. And just like some random photos. I was in the office and I took a few random photos. I can't photograph much at work, but I knew I was very low on photos. So I took like a photo of my filing cabinet and my feet while I was walking out. Here I added a lyric of a song. I wasn't able to fit it all, so I just put ... My meals, this photo of my tulip when I got home at the end of the day, another photo of the tulips, my journaling, my outfit. And then for my story for Friday, I did like my morning routine story and reflected on that. And I took some photos of my morning routine. And then here was just a few more photos from the day. And then for this one, because I had so few photos, and I didn't collect that much ephemera, I just cropped this down and had 2 rows and it worked out fine. And then for Friday, my hobby that I did was scrolling. So I documented just like all the things that I do on my phone and my iPad for fun. But as far as the photo, I included my screenshots of my connections for the entire week of how I scored all week. And then I added this from the Connections app and just made this in Photoshop. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I share how I do in Connections every single morning. And it sparks so much conversation. I've been doing this for such a long time now. And I always thought I would stop sharing it at some point, but it never fails. Every morning I get at least 1 message, usually quite a few messages responding to my commentary on how I did. I don't ever share spoilers because I know not everyone has done it yet when they see my results, but I do share my thoughts on some of them and it has sparked some interesting conversations. So I continue to share it every day. And I like that I had a place for it in here. I did want to mention, some people had asked me about this and whether or not I was going to include it each day. And I definitely could have included the specific one on each day because here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But instead, I just put them all in the one to tell it as part of a larger story. And then to end the day, I had a photo of my house in the evening as the sun was setting. Saturday, here I am in the kitchen putting away dishes. This weekend was super kind of like busy with a lot of craft work because I was traveling the following week. So the weekend wasn't super typical, but it worked out. It was fine. I was at home most of the day on my computer a lot and doing a lot of like video editing and crafting. And I finished reading my book. I had my meals documented. Just a lot of photos from around the house. My outfit, which actually is what I'm wearing right now as I'm filming this video. And then my story was specifically about meals and just like eating, my current eating habits. So I put some photos of me eating lunch and ice cream and my coffee. And then I had a filler because I had fewer photos. And this day was windy, so I tried to capture it with a photo of the tulips blowing in the wind. Again, I cropped this down because I didn't have enough to fill it. And then for my hobby for Saturday, I did journaling and I took some photos. So I film these videos like the one I'm filming now. I have a spot on my desk where I put my phone to film. I film all my videos on my phone. And for Week in the Life, I was able to put my phone up there and just capture photos of what my desk looked like as I was working on projects. So that was a really great way to document my journaling. And I also do it some more on Sunday. And then I ended the day with this really cute photo of my cat curled up. I loved it. Sunday, again, me in the kitchen. This time I'm cooking. I'm watching TV on my iPad. My cat's hanging out. Very typical. And then on Sunday, because it's the end of week in life, I like to kind of go through and see like what are the daily normal things that I didn't capture. So I took a picture of my contact case and my birth control in the morning because that's just something I hadn't captured yet. I took some photos in the yard, just like random things around the house. Like here's my cat sitting on the couch. And then for my quote or my large stamping, I just said thankful for another week in the life well lived, like wrapping up the week. I was really bad at documenting my meals this day, so I had 2 of them stamped, which is totally fine. My journaling, my outfit. And then for Sunday, my story was about content creation and how much time I spend on that, but how I spent more time on that this weekend during a week in life than I normally do. So I wanted to just document how that was not typical. And then here I was doing laundry. I typically only do laundry on Mondays, so I already had done laundry in here and documented on Monday. But because I was traveling and packing for my trip Monday morning, I was doing laundry on Sunday. And then here again, my ephemera. I was very stressed because I had my travel coming up. Just had a lot to get done. And then wrapping it up with, of course, my hobby of scrapbooking. Again, using the phone stand on my desk to take some photos of me scrapbooking. Pumpkin ended up in this one, but he did get covered by this pocket. I kind of struggled not knowing where to put that, but in the end, I'm happy with how it turned out. And then I just ended the album with the last photo of Sunday, which was a photo of my tulips in my yard. I'm so happy to have this album done. I'm so thrilled to just put this on my shelf. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I always love hearing from you guys. Have you finished your album yet? Are you still working on it? What is holding you up? I'd love to hear. Please let me know in the comments. Thank you guys again so much for being here, and I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.